Hi, it's Jess. Still the same Confess with Jess that you know, but this vlog, if we're gonna call it, is not a podcast and it is not centered on my infertility journey. It's something fun. It's an experiment. I don't know how long I will continue it past, man, I don't know how many weeks I'm gonna do it. I think 10 weeks, which leading up to the Oscars. Some of you know I am a really big pop culture, movie, television buff. I have joked for as long as I can remember that the Oscars are my Super Bowl. And I figure people, sportscasters, fans alike, obsess and talk about and listen to things relating to football, basketball, a lot of sports, especially now as we're in the playoffs. And if that's okay and that is celebrated, why can't it be okay to talk about our favorite films and acting choices in movies and things like that? So I'm hoping to do quick, 20-minute videos released every Tuesday. I'm going to cover 2 films per video. So there's a lot of them. Now, the Oscar nominations have not been announced yet. I have chosen films to watch and review that have been nominated for Golden Globes, that have been nominated for SAG Awards, Emmys, things like that. So I have an idea, reading up on a lot of the hopefuls, the predictions that who the nominees will be. So I'm just going to be prepared and covered with who could possibly be nominated. And I'll read you my list first of all the films. It's funny, it's like when you're filming with your phone and everything's on your phone, good thing you have a backup iPad. Today's will be an introduction, and I will be reviewing The Power of the Dog and also Don't Look Up, both Netflix films. Power of the Dog already winning several awards, Globes, which is a whole other story. The Globes were not even aired this year, and I panicked and thought I missed them. So you blink and they're gone. You didn't miss it, they didn't air it. That's a whole other story. But I'll read you the 21 films that I'm going to attempt to watch in the next 10 weeks. Some of them, and 6 of them I've already watched. So we have, starting with the ones I've seen, West Side Story, The Power of the Dog, Don't Look Up, Tick, Tick, Boom, and Being the Ricardos. Those are the ones that I have seen. Sorry, 5. Those of you who know me know I am not a math person. The others, Nightmare Alley, House of Gucci, The Tragedy of Macbeth, Cyrano, The Tender Bar, CODA, Belfast, King Richard, Come On, Come On, Licorice Pizza, Dune, Spencer, Passing, Respect, a lot of one-word titles here, The Lost Daughter, In the Heights, A Hero, Parallel Mothers, Drive My Car, and The Worst Person in the World. Okay, those are the films. The last 5 I mentioned are foreign language films, which require subtitles, which I'm super into now since, Squid Game, which whole other story as well. If I don't have time, I'm probably going to leave those for the last because they were only nominated, or there's only talks of them being nominated for 1 or 2 awards. So I'm focusing on the heavy hitters, the ones that are in the spotlight predominantly. And I'm going to try to pair them up. So today is talking about the 2 Netflix films, and next week will be West Side Story, Tick, Tick, Boom, and In the Heights, because as you may have guessed it, they are all musicals. Musicals near and dear to my heart. So I'm going to try to do themes, like if they're HBO based, or if they are biopics, things like that. I want it to be interactive. I want it to be fun. Leave me comments. If you watch the movie, let me know. I'm going to do a quick review, tell you who the director and who the main actors are, and give you my rating on a 1 out of 5 scale. So I started with 1 to 10, and then I realized, I can't make decisions to save my life. and thinking about giving it a 1 out of 10, too stressful. So 1 out of 5. But I'd love to hear from you if you watched it and if you have some similar thoughts or completely opposite thoughts. I am here and I am ready, willing to hear your feedback. So we'll just start off with Don't Look Up, since of this list, that is one of the first ones I saw. I watched that with my family the day after Christmas. Nice on my parents' big TV. Was super excited about seeing this. Those of you who know me know why. Huge Leonardo DiCaprio fan. So that was a big thing. Not a huge fan of Jennifer Lawrence. Sorry to all you fans out there. But I did like her in this role. But huge cast here, right? Timothée Chalamet, Cate Blanchett, Ariana Grande, obviously Meryl Streep and Jonah Hill. All like big time actors, or recognizable at least, in this film. And when I first heard of talks of this film, I had no idea it was a comedy. I thought it would be more serious, thinking of like Leo, Meryl, and even Jennifer Lawrence, like thinking, no way this could be a comedy. Then I finally saw the trailer about a few weeks before it was released and was shocked and was thinking, this is not really my style of film. I don't really resonate with it. The director's Adam McKay. Some of you may have known him from The Big Short. I knew him from Step Brothers, which is another story about a first date with someone that I watched that on. So like bad memories about that one. Never got the hype of that. Anyway, he did 2018's Vice, which I really liked, with Christian Bale. That was a good one. So I was like, he did that and I liked it. We're going to give it a shot. We were going to give it a shot anyway because of the actors. So was very into it. Did not feel bored throughout the film. But maybe thought a lot of these tropes we've seen before. Of course, and there will be spoiler alerts in these films, just so you know. So spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, pause or fast forward the video. So obviously it is, a disaster film, a film with apocalyptic, but very politically charged and themed. It was definitely a commentary on, a social commentary on life now. I don't think a lot of the nuances there were lost on people. I think they were right there in your face, but not enough to, be cheeky or corny. I think it was well done, that it wasn't too over the top in your face, but it was enough that it wasn't too subtle that you were questioning whether is this like a social commentary. I think we see a lot of play on like the Trump administration and mask wearing and the polarizing viewpoints of people at this time, though not expressed in that way. But we follow Leonardo DiCaprio's character, who is an intelligent, gifted man. And we see him crumble from like this family man who's interested in science to, wrapped up in this world of fame and, then having affairs and like going away from his family and realizing really at the end that with the great last line, we really did have everything, didn't we? And I could be butchering that. I used to say, we really did have it all, didn't we? And that was my mom and I and my sister and my husband, we would say that often and say it's such a great line at the end. It's right, for context, it's right before the earth is obliterated and they know they're about to die, and they finally had this final meal with family and friends, and Leo looks around and he's saying, we really did have everything just by like being with our family. It wasn't even about monetary things or fame. And we know that. We know how cliche that can be, but like it just hit home with being the last line. And I read an article a few weeks ago, actually, that Leo actually improvised that line, and it was cut during the first edit of the film. And when Adam McKay and team brought Leo in to watch some of the final edits, Leo actually said, you know, like, what about that line that we said? I think that really nails it, because they were struggling with what should that final line be that's poignant but not too cheesy, etc. So props to Leo for knowing about that last line. And a lot of like at the end, biblical references, which I appreciated. Timothy Chalamet's character kind of coming to terms with death and his you know, own mortality, says like he grew up in a Christian home, and he starts like quoting Bible verses and finds comfort in that, and kind of like tries to connect Jennifer Lawrence's character, who's quasi dating him, at the end of the film. So I thought like they brought in some biblical references there. There's like a lot going on, which I appreciate. It was a long film. I think it was like 2.5 hours. I'm checking. I have my cheat sheet over here. It was, I don't say, but I'm pretty sure it was like a little under 2.5 hours long. Did not feel like it, but I don't think I'd watch it again. So we're coming up on time here for my first introductory video, and since I had to introduce it and get through 2 films, I'm gonna go a little faster, and especially because I was not crazy about this film, I think I would give it a 3. And even as I say that now, I went back and forth between a 2.5 and a 3. I want to stick with 3 because the acting was incredible and I appreciate the storyline. But I really just I would not watch it again, and I didn't feel connected to it emotionally, or even intellectually. So appreciate it, but don't think it should win all the awards, shall we say. So leave comments for me. Tell me if you agree or disagree, and if you haven't watched it, if you're interested, or if you're like, dull. Another film that I will hype up here. Hype up's not the right word. I usually, so just so you know, I judge movies, my reaction to them, by how much I think about them afterwards. My husband and my family and I used to always go to the movies, right? And we'd love to discuss it after. And I loved that. And I used to hate going to the movies with friends that like saw it and then they didn't want to talk about it after, just move on, go to the next event, let's go to dinner. And I was like, no, we just witnessed like art, cinematic magic, and we need to discuss it like literature and break it apart and appreciate it. And so I'm very, very happy that my husband Tig likes to do that with me as well. So the past few years have felt, you know, when I really love a film, I think about it, not just in the moments afterwards where it's expected of me and my personality wants to talk about it, but also in the moments like the day after, 2 days after, where I'm just like, wow, it's kind of haunting in a way, whether it be good or bad, whether I was confused by it, whether I was enamored with it, if I'm still thinking about it. Don't Look Up. I didn't really think about it much after the discussion with my family, and only resurfaced those memories and thoughts about it in preparation for this video. The Power of the Dog, different story. Thought about that probably at least 2 to 3 days after, and was very interested in like decoding a lot of this, the weight of it afterwards. So just some basics here. Also a Netflix film, starring, of course, the brilliant Benedict Cumberbatch, and starring Kirsten Dunst. Do we remember Kirsten Dunst, people? My people who grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, you will remember her from Little Women, from Bring It On, from Marie Antoinette. Those are just ones that are coming into my head. Beautiful. Spider-Man, the classic Spider-Man kiss, upside down kiss. So like brilliant during that time. She kind of fell off the scene for a while, and she's back here, and she's actually playing with her real life partner, Jesse Plemons, who she met on the set of another movie, Fargo, actually, which I didn't know. I didn't know that till about a few weeks ago when I watched the Vanity Fair clip of her. So they're cool. They play romantic love interest, eventually husband and wife, in this film, and their chemistry is obviously wonderful. But the chemistry between Kirsten and Benedict is palpable as well, in an opposite effect, not in a romantic way, but in a fearful, domineering, one person influencing control, and just masculine power over in this case, a woman who is fragile, who has turned to alcohol to escape her fear of this man. Acting is on point. Benedict Cumberbatch, I don't know about a shoe-in for Best Actor. He has, which we'll get to this in a different episode, but Denzel Washington to compete with in Macbeth. But I think he's very close, and he did win the Golden Globe for Best Actor in a drama. So I think it's a side of him we have not seen before. I don't know, you guys tell me. A lot of people know him best from Sherlock, right? I know him from The Imitation Game with Keira Knightley, from a lot of British films, but he always plays, to me, in the roles I've seen him, more like a lovable, caring individual. He's sinister in this, but there's humanity behind it that once the layers are peeled back, you see, but a role that we have never seen him in before, and does it so expertly well. This was directed by Jane, I'm going to butcher poor Jane's last name, Campion. Beautiful director. Kirsten Dunst said the reason why she did this film was because the director reached out to her directly and wanted her to do it. She has the movie I'm most familiar with that she's directed before is called Bright Star, British film. My goodness, like 2008, 2009 film about John Keats that I loved, like beautiful. She just directs such beautifully lush films where your attention is on the character, but it's also on the landscape around the character and the beauty, the juxtaposition of like the internal lives of the characters against this backdrop of like magnificent beauty. Like, she does that so well. It's such an art for her. You guys may have seen The Piano in 1993. That was a big one. I just looked her up to see, because I'm not familiar with a lot of them, but they also have In the Cut, 2003 with Meg Ryan, Portrait of a Lady in 96. But I feel this really, not put her on the map, but I feel like this is getting her more attention that she deserves, because I don't think she's gotten as much as is necessary. And thank you for the women directors out there. More and more, we need more of them all the time. But the film, I don't really want, I know I said spoiler alerts, but I don't want to give this film away because I really want you to watch it. Tig and I watched the ending of it twice, like right in a row. And it's a little bit of a surprise, a little bit of a twist that I think you see coming subconsciously. And then it kind of sneaks up on you and you're like, I think I knew that, but did I know the way it was going to happen? And so you rewatch it. And I've read articles that talked about, like, if you watch the whole thing again, you start to see those pieces unfold, etc. So I don't want to give a lot away here. I want to say watch it and then write me a comment and tell me. I'm going to give it a 4.5, which was hard for me because, like, I want 5 to be the holy grail, like almost not perfect, but almost like doing your best, doing all you can in the moment. And I think it's almost there. I'd watch it again. It's the music, the score, and the cinematography is like stunning. A little unsettling, the storyline, because you feel not the storyline, but you feel unsettled because you feel like what's really going on here under the surface, and you feel a little nervous the entire time. So I don't quite always like feeling like that. So not like a feel-good movie, but definitely recommend. And now as I talk about it, I realize I liked it more than I even thought the first time around. Yeah, okay, so that is my first review of Power of the Dog and Don't Look Up, both Netflix films. Next week, next Tuesday, I will be talking about 3. So it will be a slightly longer episode, maybe 5-10 minutes longer. So West Side Story, Tick Tick Boom, and In the Heights. Do your homework. Watch them before you watch my video, because I'd love to hear what you have to say. And we're going to do this together. The last week, I'm probably going to do my predictions of who I think will win the awards. And I'd love for my viewers to kind of like go in on this with me and see if we guess, are we winning a prize here? No, but we're winning bragging rights. And it's just fun. I needed a hobby, guys. Like, I needed a hobby during the pandemic where it was just very escapist. So I will probably return to my Confess with Jess podcast at a later date, but I really needed one to get this out. And for those of you who know me, I know I say that so often, but I've been trying to do this for a while. Like, this is so lame, and I deleted these videos, just so you know. Back in like my early 20s, I loved American Idol, and I did like recap videos every week, and no one even watched it. And the people who watched it thought it was like completely lame, and yet strangely endearing just because they like me, not because it was good. But I've always enjoyed entertainment, pop culture. I just want to give this a try because I feel like I have a lot to say about it, and it's fun for me. And I've been really burnt out at work lately, and I just feel like I need some sort of an escape, which is what led me to this. So I hope you take this journey with me in these 10 weeks. And if you like it, who knows, maybe we'll explore another TV show together, a book, a musical. I'd love to hear in the comments if you'd want me to review something, because I find it really fun and fascinating. All right. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week.